Starting in April 2018 until it officially ended on June 20th of 2018, the Trump administration changes immigration policy to separate children from their parents and crossing over a border legally. As many as 1,995 children were separated from their parents from April 2018 to the end of May 2018 alone. Now, many in the Trump administration, although at first denying this policy existed and downplaying the severity of this policy, even in some instances resorting to blatant xenophobia, have inferred this policy would serve as a deterrent for families not to cross over our border legally. Now, although one could see how this inhumane act, in theory, could serve as a deterrent, I think it's pretty safe to say that the cons outweigh the pros. Now, it's not for me to tell you who to support politically, but what I will tell you that when it comes to this policy, despite its original intentions, it's most definitely uneconomical, immoral, and the psychological damage would be devastating. Put in dollar signs, according to ABC News, it costs more to the taxpayer around $775 per person, with a 400-bed structure costing around $5 million per month in operating costs just to house children from their parents separately. This is because it requires more infrastructure to house them in different buildings and a higher amount of workers to perform tasks for these children that the parents would have done otherwise. But despite these costs, the biggest impact that this policy is most definitely immoral. For it is written in the book of Leviticus, when God said to Moses, "When a foreigner resides among you in your land, do not mistreat them. The foreigner residing among you must be treated as your native born. Love them as yourself, for you were foreigners in Egypt." This policy is about as immoral as can be, with the Trump administration clearly showing us they lack in moral and ethical sense, along with any understanding of basic Christian values. These people are not terrorists and gangbangers coming for our women, as President Trump has said, but migrants seeking refuge from the instability, corruption, and persecution occurring in Central America, most of which is because of our country when it interfered with theirs and destabilized the governments in the first place. The most lasting impact this policy will have is psychological damage that these kids will have for the rest of their lives. In fact, it is important to note that many children will suffer from conditions like reactive attachment disorder, or RAD for short. According to the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, children suffering from RAD are less likely to interact with people because of negative experiences with adults in early years. They have difficulty calming down when stressed and do not look for comfort from their caregivers when they are upset. These children may seem to have little to no emotions when interacting with others. They may appear unhappy, irritable, sad, or scared when doing normal tasks with their caretakers. Also, when looking at childhood development, induced trauma is detrimental to the development of these children. Take the Erikson's stages of psychosocial development, for instance. Erikson's theory is that human beings get through 8 stages of social development throughout their entire lives, and if you inhibit one of these stages, it could damage or prevent someone from moving on to the next stage. So, for instance, stage 1 is trust versus mistrust, occurring from ages 0 to 1.5. So, if a migrant baby is taken from their family during this crucial stage, the induced trauma from its events could make them develop a feeling of mistrust instead of trust. Also, instead of developing a normal virtue of hope, they will instead develop a virtue of fear, resulting in anxiety, heightened insecurities, and overall feeling of mistrust. Which brings me to Henry. Henry and his mom Anita fled from Honduras, crossing over the Rio Grande border in Texas in June of last year. Upon arriving, Henry is a normal 6-year-old boy by all standards, whom his mother wanted to bring to America seeking asylum from the instability of their native country. Upon arriving at the border, they were separated, and after a month's separation, They were reunited, but the psychological divide is apparent from the start. As featured in a main documentary by The Atlantic, you can see it for yourself. We did that. We as a people did that, and there's no blaming, no scapegoating, or blatant bigotry that can mask his cries and the cries of around 2,300 children who were detained and ruined because of this policy. Now, although President Trump has supposedly signed an executive order to stop this policy, there's still reports as late as November of last year, around 3 months after he signed the executive order, that happened in the case. Now, after learning about the devastatingly uneconomical, immoral, and psychologically damaging repercussions of this policy, the question really is, do you want this to define who we are? It is up to you to hold the monsters behind this policy accountable and say enough is enough, or the Henrys affected by this policy will only grow, and the scars they carry with them will be forever lasting.